Yeah, hello and welcome back. We have another unboxing to do. This time the infamous 1/6 scale Space Wizard, or otherwise known as Ebony Maw. Now, I've looked forward to this one. I've seen a few reviews of it. That's what made us pick this up, because I loved the characters, the bad guy characters in Endgame and in basically Infinity War. I thought they were really cool, and I thought there was some really sort of good character in them. You know, the way they were done, the way they were portrayed, I thought they were freaking exceptionally good characters. So, and we've always missed out with sort of likes of Hot Toys that they don't seem to really do too much in the way of like bad guys type thing, you know. And I happen to like some of them, you know. I happen to think that some of them can be really cool. Sometimes more so than actually the main characters themselves, you know. So this one, when I saw it was up, I thought I'm gonna have to get this one and add it to my collection. So that is what we did. And this one I picked up from Toys Wonderland. So if there's I know there's a few guys sort of have been interested in that idea of, well, what's Toys Wonderland like. The price on this was really cheap. Yeah, when you added in even sending it across to this country to getting it imported over here, still wasn't that bad at all. You know, I was quite happy enough to pay the price of it. There's a lot of people wonder, do you get charged when it comes in a customs charge? Now, I can honestly say with this particular character, no, I did not get a customs charge off this one. Okay, and I'll show you quickly. I've obviously got my thingies up there. So here's what it's come with, and it's come as a gift. And you can see that the value he's got down is being US $5, right? So there you go, and that's and the total weight. So that lets you know that basically he's put it down as way less than what it was, the value of the actual thing is itself. So it got no customs charge. Now, whether that's the case on a Hot Toys item, I honestly don't know yet. I haven't ordered a Hot Toys item from there yet. I do have another item coming from there, but again, it's from a different company. It's not from Hot Toys. So again, I'm not sure how that was going to come. When it does come, I'll let you know if I get a customs charge on that one. But with this one, there was no customs charge. This is where it becomes difficult for me, because obviously I'm not a professional. I don't have all the professional lighting, so trying to light this one up so you can actually see that you have got a thingy of the actual figure here. Sort of done. It's like a stuck on style thingy to it, you know, but it's really nice, and it's sort of, it doesn't give away exactly what the character looks like, but it does give away enough to sort of show you that is a nice box, you know. I like that. Again, on the side here, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but there is actually a thingy of the other characters down here. So I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see that on the camera, like you see, because of the lighting. And on the back again, there's another one with pretty much all the characters in there. So the box itself is, you know, it's pretty good. It's okay. I'm not. Again, same with that side. It's the characters on there. And this one happens to be, by the feels of it, going to be a shoebox style opening. So I'll change the camera view, and we'll get it open and have a look at what comes next. So as for what comes next, is there is no inlay like what you get with sort of the Hot Toy style ones, just this foam thingy covering actual character himself, and there you go, there's the character himself. Now what I'll do is I'll get out anything that's in there, any accessories, anything like that might be hidden underneath them. We'll get all that stuff out, put it in the light box, and show you exactly what you get with this character. But already he's a tall dude, a very tall dude. And accessories wise, guys, well, I think it's in short supply. But, and again, if you remember the character from the film, he didn't use a weapon. He was a wizard. He was a, you know, he was along the lines of Doctor Strange, you know. He used the idea of magic to do his stuff, so he doesn't need any weaponry as such, because he didn't use any. The base itself, you know, it's canny enough for those that sort of use bases. There's nothing wrong with that. That's sort of better than just a plain black thingy. They have left it blank, so you can actually get a thingy made yourself and put in there. Have Ebony Maw or Space Wizard, whichever one you would prefer. Yeah, just dead straightforward. It's okay for what it does. Same with this. Yeah, your normal crotch grabber. Does what it'll do. This is where you come into the meat and grind of it all, guys. Yeah, it's basically the hands, the rings. Yeah, look at the way they've been done. Yeah, it's beautifully sculpted, beautifully painted. The fact that you can see all these veins and what have you in his hands. The rings have all been individually painted, and you can see, yeah, so there's no paint over spills or anything like that. It's all pretty good. But the inside of there, you can see just on the inside of there where it's went onto his fingertip a bit. It's the only place really where it seems a little bit thingy, but it's not something you're going to really notice that badly. So you're getting obviously the two hands for the opposite. You know, that very basically, I don't know if anyone else is thinking, but that seems pretty much almost identical style rings and everything on two opposite hands, you know. Actual things itself are slightly different, but rings wise they seem to be bloody similar. Rings, it's like they've used almost a very similar thing, you know. I don't know in the film whether these rings were exactly the same on each side. I would have to go back and have a relook it over, but what so much this hand's for, I'm not 100% certain, but it's still nice. It's still been done well. And obviously we have the last one, which is this one, and he obviously has two hands on him. I think that's really cool. You can see that the way they've done them, the paint apps and what have you, it's all done really well. You have very long fingers, just like sort of that adds to the alien-esque thingy to them. But there you go, that's what you're getting that way on. Not a lot, but you don't need a lot for this type of character. Now we'll get the character out himself and show you just how good or just how bad he looks. And here he is, guys. And I think the first thing you're going to notice is basically how far out or how far away I've had to have the camera in order to film the full thing of him in, because he's a very tall dude. A very tall dude. I will give you a comparison next to other characters in a moment, but first off I just wanted to obviously show this guy off because that's what I bought. On initial opening up the thingy, that there is a heck of a smell to whatever material it is they've used, because it's not a normal, it's not something I've felt very often, that material. It's very strange sort of a material that they've used, and feels quite thick. So I think it's one of those ones where you could probably leave it in a pose for a good period of time and not really worry about it like what you would with a lot of the Hot Toys style stuff that they do. This one has a lot better of a feel to it, a lot thicker of a feel to it, but it, by God, does it smell. It wears off pretty quickly, you know, your nose becomes accustomed to it pretty quickly, one or the other, but initially when you open it, you do get that powerful thing, you're going, wow, that smells. You can smell it. It's not like it stinks horribly bad, it's just you can smell it, you know. But by God, does this character look brilliant. They've done a fantastic job of doing this guy. I really do like what I'm seeing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, pull him in closer, but I'm going to move my light, because you can see right now he's in a lot of shadow. I can't seem to get the light right on this one at all, so I need to pull him forward and see if we can get a bit more light on this guy and have him look a lot better. So we'll will just stop this and I'll re-thing it once I get the lighting better. So that's possibly a little bit better. But there you go, guys, that's close up of his face and the head sculpt, and just, I mean, that is fantastically well done. You know, you cannot mistake who that is meant to be. You know, it is just so brilliantly done. You know, that is probably one of the better head sculpts I've seen in a while. Yeah, and it's not done by Hot Toys, which is surprising. They have done an absolutely fantastic job of that. That looks brilliant, and it actually doesn't thingy too badly. The fact that the hair is a rooted hair rather than sculpted, it works okay with this character. Now, how much or whether any of it will start to drop out over a period of time or not, I don't know. And the fact that it's not just white, you can see bits of blue in there, and also like sort of the darker whites in there as well. So I think that is really cool that they've managed to go to lengths to do that, to give it sort of, because nobody's hair is just plain bright white in certain colours, in certain lights. In that you can see different things, and so that fact that you can see different colours in that, I think, is a brilliant touch. The uniform wise, you can see here, you know, guys, this is like sort of a slightly harder sort of rubberized material. You see this stuff here, the material itself is like really pliable but quite thick, so it works out really well. This stuff as well is a different sort of rubber to this stuff. I mean, you can see on his thing here, it's sort of painted nicely. It looks really nice. Yeah, there's sort of different feels to the materials, but they all feel nice and thick and workable. You know, I mean, obviously this one, if you're moving the thingy forward, I wonder whether that'll be sort of a bit of an issue for it. You know, but other than that, I think the rest of it sort of like, and you can see on the pants legs you've got like a lot of give on that, so that's gonna have no issue with the maneuverability. And you can see on his hands, on these two hands, again, how just beautifully they're sculpted and how well they've been made. Yeah, this character just looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, the worst thing for me is about buying a character like this one is that so far I actually do not own a Thanos. Yeah, strange as that may seem, because I know most people do have them, I don't have a Thanos, which means now I'm gonna have to look out for a cheap version of Thanos, or I'd like to get an endgame one, possibly the battle damaged version maybe, but I'll wait. I'll bide me time and I'll wait till it comes down to a price that I consider good enough to be able to pay for it, because I don't fancy paying £300 plus for it. I have seen earlier versions of Thanos going for just over 200 odd quid, so I'll just keep on waiting and biding me time, even if it means this guy has to end up going away until such time as I get the Thanos. I'll do that. If not, I'll just put this guy out and have him on his own until I get the other characters that come with him. I mean, what they're going to do with the big guy is beyond me, because if I'm not mistaken, he stood taller than Thanos, even taller than actually Hulk, which would mean that would be a hell of a bloody piece to try and do, and it would make it an expensive piece to buy as well. So let's hope they can manage to pull that off and do it at a sort of a reasonably good price. But that head sculpt, man, guys, that is just amazing. Let's see what it's capable of doing. So you can see it's not a huge amount of maneuverability on that. And you're obviously going to be able to turn them which way. The actual tilt wise, you're really not getting much in the way of that at all, so that's not so great. But hey, ratcheted arms that will literally go all the way up there, and you probably are getting that little bit of bunch in here, but again, I think the type of material this is, you're not going to have to worry too badly about it. It does have the butterfly joint there. It's like a ratcheted style effect as well. Like you can feel it, you can't really hear it, but you can feel the ratcheted effect going up. Same with going back. So you've got no issues with any of that. That is like absolutely brilliant. Even compared to Hot Toys, that's a bloody good range of motion on the arms. I mean, absolutely spot on. Yes, it looks a little bit uglyish when you're seeing that this the way they've done that thingy, but I think that's something you can put up with when you're getting a range of motion like what you're getting with them. And of course, obviously, this is going to cause a slight issue with moving his hands. In fact, look at that, man. It's not causing that much of an issue at all. His hands pretty much can move in nicely. Yeah, so it's a like normal sort of joint that you normally get. So that's pretty cool. So now come on to like the waist articulation. Now you might spot a little disjointedness there. It's literally I've had to stop the video in order to move myself because I've got my dog underneath us here. So I was getting a bit uncomfortable and I had to sort of move myself and stand up for a little bit just to really ease myself. So the waist wise, I mean, that is pretty phenomenal. Yeah, going back. You know, it might sound like it's broke there, but it's not. It's like a thingy. But why you would need him to be able to move back on this type of character is beyond me, because he wouldn't really do that. But you have got really good waist and thingy articulation. I mean, this to me actually is better than what I've seen in 90% of the Hot Toys stuff. You know, 90% of the Hot Toys can't do this type of thing. So when you've got a body that probably would look bad if it wasn't for the fact it's covered in clothing, you know, is phenomenal that you can do such a range of motion. So to me, this, yes, is the perfect style of body to use if it's going to be fully clothed, because you're not really going to notice any of the joints and what have you that's in there. Yeah, it's got tremendous amount of movement to it. You know what I mean? That is just an unbelievable amount of movement. I'll get this arm back out the way so I can test the hip wise. So you can see there, I mean, yeah. When you want a martial arts figure, you'd want even more motion than that. You'd want the leg to be able to go like right up here, so that's something that would thingy to it, you know, that you want as much a range of motion as you can possibly get out of figures when the characters that do, so you see your Spider-Mans and stuff like that. Now I know Hot Toys thingies are the fact that they are giving you the most perfect rendition they can of the thingy. Posability comes second to it, you know, so that I understand. It just would be nice if you could get, not that would put the foot so much because that's just on the thing, but there you go, yeah, that's full range of motion there on that knee, though by the looks of that, oh, there you go, it snaps back into position because it looks like it's really thingy there. Hold on. Okay, so we think the joint had popped out there, and that's why it looked as thingy as what it did. But I have managed to sort of snap it back, and you just push it back up, and you'll hear a snap, and it goes back into position. And you can see, yeah, it's a split boot joint, and you can see how I've managed to quickly pull that out as well. That's going good, isn't it? Okay, we're fully fixed up now again. So what you've got in the top end, you have the swivel as well, up there. Movement back over, great, but you've got enough to be getting on with. Yeah, obviously you've seen the knee joint. As long as you don't try and sort of thingy too far, the knee joint's a nice enough joint, and it's like a ratcheted style effect to it, so that's pretty good. And obviously the ankle joint, as you saw before, was on a ball joint, so, and with it being a split design, you can basically get quite a range of motion in any which way you want, and then just pull the boot down and it gives that a little bit more support. Now I will say to you guys that this joint here is very maneuverable, very thingy. It's quite sort of almost flimsy to me. Yeah, I don't know if there's any way of like pushing it further on to make it a little less flimsy, but it feels a very flimsy joint. I did have problems getting him to stand on his own, but when you push the actual boot thingy down, it gives it just that little bit extra. But I would still be concerned if you're the type like me who likes to have your characters standing up without the actual bases, getting them to stand up and stay there with those feet, I honestly would think may be somewhat of an issue. Okay, which is some of the things you won't see with possibly like Justin's things, because Justin uses his thingies to stand them up, you know. But for me, and I know this is a soft base, so that's why it's going to be even harder right now. Hopefully when I get him on a harder base, it'll not be an issue, but right now, trying to get him to stand up will eventually do it. There you go. And you can see how tall he is. I can't even get him in the full thingy. I'm out to pan back out again. But for looks wise, man, you kind of gone wrong with this guy, right? He is just beautiful. Joints wise, like you seen, I had that slight issue with the leg. That was me, because I am the type that will put it through a range of motion. I did think I'd broken the leg, but thankfully it just pushed and popped back into place. So I'm like, thank Christ for that, because I wouldn't want to have to send the damn thing back to China again and have to wait for a thingy, because it did come through very fast. I'm going to admit that as well. From when I ordered it to it getting here, was pretty damn fast. Yeah, I think it literally only took a matter of probably, I think it was less than a week, I believe. Yeah, so it depends on what you pay as well. I paid the least amount to get it here. So I could have been waiting 14 days or plus, and I only waited about a week and it was here. So that I've got no complaints whatsoever about Toys Wonderland when it comes to that. Now, like I say, I will have to try them out sometime with the Hot Toys and see if there's a thingy there where I'll get the Hot Toys through and I'll get a customs charge or not. Who's to say? But with this one, there's no customs charge, a reasonable price, got him really quickly. He looks mint. I'm really happy with how he looks. Now what we'll do is I'll get somebody else out here, stand up next to him, so you can see the height differences, guys. And there you go, guys. There's your height comparison. As you can see, Ebony Maw does stand a good little bit higher than Doctor Strange. I had trouble getting Doctor Strange to stand up, but then again, I'm not surprised, because he's been sitting down for the last 2-3 years that I've had him. He's been in the sat pose for so long. I think his legs have just gone to sleep on him. So it took us a while to get him to stand. But plus, obviously, with them having the fixed boot as well, it does make it awfully hard. And I've said this before, that the thingy me light boxes on, this bottom part of it is actually a soft material rather than hard, which the sides are sort of like a more... If I had the sides on the bench, there would be a lot more like a proper bench material, because it's just a thin material. But this stuff on the bottom part of it is soft material, so if it falls over, it'll not damage it as much. But yeah, you go. There's your height differences in the two, and like you can see there is a nice little sort of a difference there in the heights. But again, this Ebony Maw, guys, it really does look fantastic. You know, the head sculpt looks amazing. I can't wait to get the other characters. I can't really remember the names of them, but I know there is another one due to be released soon. It was up for pre-order. I do have that one pre-ordered already, so that one will come when it releases. And like I say, I do have one more character on the way from Toys Wonderland, which I will let you know and let you see when it eventually arrives. Hopefully that one should be on its way or arriving very soon with a bit of luck. But anyway, guys, that is Ebony Maw, and my God, he looks good, and the actual material of his suit feels like it could be good. Now, the only issue I'm sort of got with the actual thing itself is, if I can bring it forward without hopefully disturbing either one of them where they'll fall over, it's just here where the waist part is. Is that seems to be bunching up, but you just basically pull it down a little bit, front and back, and it'll sort of straighten out a little bit. But it is just, it is in the crux of those things, just bending slightly. So if you've got it in a bent position, this is the only bit. And like I say, I'm not worrying about it deteriorating or anything like that. I'm just more worried about the fact is that it's like, it's just not quite as nice looking as when it's flush and down, you know. But that is the only sort of gripe that I can see with this, because it is really nicely made. And for it not being a Hot Toys, guys, I really do like it. And like I say, the only massive issue I have is the worry of whether his feet will be able to hold him. Because if you've got to remember, for some of you guys, you have them set up in your house. You have a home thing where you can put these things. So hopefully, when there's people walking around, you're not going to have an issue with bounce. Mine are set up in my man cave. My man cave is a wooden structure out in my garden, so it's not thingy. When I move around, when the dog jumps up and down, there's movement in the whole cave. You know, the whole cave moves a little bit. So that's what worries me, is that whether these joints will hold up, because they are very, very flimsy. I don't like having to use the actual stands, but with this character, I may be left with no alternative but to eventually have to use the stand, which would be a shame. But that's the only sort of gripe I would have, would be they could have done with something where I could make it a bit tighter. Maybe I can actually take the boot off, put a bit of blue tack in there and make it so that it's just that little bit harder to move around. That might be a course of action for me to do, to try and just make it so he's got a little bit more stability in that thingy. But other than that, guys, this guy is truly fantastic. Yeah, amazing looking dude. Yeah, I just think it's fabulous, and I can't wait to get some of the other characters, and I'm hoping I can pick up a Thanos at a reasonably good to reasonable price for what I'm willing to pay, especially if I can eventually get an end game one, then that would be ideal. There you go, guys. Now it's time for me to work out how I'm going to pose them for the time being, and where I'm going to put them for the time being, since I've got no other bad guy characters from this range just yet. But man, do I think this guy is absolutely amazing. Yeah, if you like your bad guys, if you want a full range of the end game or the Infinity Wars thingies, then this is a must to pick up, guys. And it's, if you're getting it right now before it goes to secondary market, before it sells out, yeah, you can pick them up fairly cheap. Yeah, even going direct to someone like Toys Wonderland. I think even, is it Pop Culture? I think are starting to actually now have these in as well. So if you prefer Pop Culture, you can go to Pop Culture. I'm not sponsored by either one of them, so it doesn't bother me where you're going. I do know, though, if you're going to go to Pop Culture, I would go to Jedi Patrol's thingy, and I think it's you type in Patrol, and you'll get 10% off. It helps Jedi out, yeah, and it helps you out because you'll get 10% off. But there you go, guys. And I think the prices are pretty much similar. When you're using the 10% discount code between Toys Wonderland and Pop Culture, I think they're quite sort of similar when you're using the code. But anyway, guys, this is me done. I just can't get over how good that head sculpt is, and how really, really good this character feels in hand, you know, and how tall he is. It's just absolutely brilliant. So that's me done, guys. I'm out of here. I'm going to go and pose them up and find somewhere to put them for the time being. If you've enjoyed this video, then I'm so glad. Please come back and watch more, and I would gladly see you again. But for the time being, this is the bearded nerdy oaf, and I am out of here. So guys, some of you may have seen my recent review on this guy, Ebony Maw, and how enthralled I was with him. And then I only had one issue, which was, to me, the ankle joint seemed very, very weak for it. Well, this is what I'm trying, first off, as my way of dealing with it. Now, no, I'm not going to leave it looking that ugly like that, but that's what I'm using. It's basically a simple case of some toilet paper folded over a number of times. Yes, it was hard getting the boot back on, but that's what you wanted. I wanted it to be hard to get the bloody boot back on in order to make sure that it has some stability. So we're going to check it in a second. Once I've just sort of cut away some of this excess and pulled the boot back down, we'll show you what that looks like and show you just whether it's worked or not. for the time being, or whether we'll have to go to the next stage. But that's what I'm trying first. Simple thing here of loo roll, fold it over a number of times. Yes, it's hard to get the boot on, but it's on. Let's see if that works.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
What? No. I didn't. I wasn't. Why would I ever say that? I mean,